Well, hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, we're out in, obviously I'm not in Sarasota. We don't have mountains like this in Sarasota. But we're in Kentucky for a little while, so I'm doing this series in Numbers, a section of it remotely. So anyway, we just went to a cookout. It's kind of neat to see that cookout. They put on their cups, God bless America, which very few people say anymore. And then they put John 3:16. It's funny. Everyone is tripping all over themselves to get out of being a Christian and putting Christian things on their merchandise and so forth. And this company here sticks it right on there, John 3:16. Now, obviously, they're not the only ones that do that, but it's a nice, refreshing thing to see that a restaurant wants to put that on their cups and proclaim that Jesus is Lord. We're going through Numbers right now, and we're in chapter 7 right now. Chapter 7 is actually the longest chapter of the Pentateuch. It's like 89 verses long. Some of these past episodes have been like 15 minutes long. I'm not going to be doing that with this. I'm doing this chapter in 2 episodes of Numbers chapter 7. The first episode today is only 9 verses, but then the rest will be, we'll look at the rest. And I'm not going to read every single word from that, because you're going to, join me tomorrow and you'll see why I'm not reading every single word of that, the rest of the chapter. Normally I read every single word, but I won't be doing that tomorrow. This is where a lot of this material in Numbers, it overlaps with Leviticus. Okay, so some of the teaching, I spent a lot of time teaching a lot of these things in Leviticus. So when we get here to Numbers, you can refer back to Leviticus if you want more details about it. But we're going to kind of move through this rather quickly. Today I wanted to talk about carrying the most sacred objects on the shoulders. These first 9 verses, I'm going to read them right now. So this is taken from Numbers chapter 7, verses 1 through 9. It says this: On the day Moses set up the tabernacle, he anointed it and set it apart as holy. He also anointed and set apart all its furnishings and the altar with the utensils. Then the leaders of Israel, the tribal leaders who had registered the troops, came and brought their offerings. Together they brought 6 large wagons and 12 oxen. There was a wagon for each 2 leaders and an ox for each leader. They presented these to the Lord in front of the tabernacle. Okay, so quite a bit of wagons and oxen. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Receive their gifts and use these oxen and wagons for transporting the tabernacle. Distribute them among the Levites according to the work you have to do." So Moses took the wagons and the oxen and presented them to the Levites. He gave 2 wagons and 4 oxen to the Gershonite division for their work, and he gave 4 wagons and 8 oxen to the Merarite division for their work, and all their work was done under the leadership of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. But he gave none of the wagons or oxen to the Korite divisions, since they were required to carry the sacred objects of the tabernacle on their shoulders. The leaders, we'll stop there. Now, you read through that. Moses gave one group, the Gershonite division, and then he gave the Merarite division. Each of those divisions he gave oxen and wagons. But when it came to the Korathites, he didn't give any of those wagons to them. And you're thinking to yourself, well, that's not fair. They got to carry all this stuff without the wagons and so forth. Yeah, exactly. You're right. It's not fair, but the most sacred things were to be carried on the shoulders. It wasn't to be carried on wagons at all. All right. And you will see that Later on, when the tabernacle is actually like captured in a battle, they bring it out, kind of doing it as a good luck charm or something. They bring this out. It gets captured by the Philistines. The Philistines have it, and everything bad happens to them and their false gods with them having that tabernacle. And so they send it back. They send it back like the best way they know how, and they send it back with oxen. And so the Israelites assumed, like, oh, since it's sent back with oxen, let's continue transporting this with oxen. Okay, it turned out to be really bad for them, and people died as a result of it, because God prescribed the holiest parts of that tabernacle are to be carried on the shoulders. Okay, so this is, I say all this because it's a picture of Jesus and salvation through Jesus. You look at that tabernacle, and it's a picture of salvation, really. But carrying that tabernacle with those Levites carrying that tabernacle, they had to carry it on their shoulders. They were required to carry it on their shoulders. They had no outside assistance. Okay, sometimes when you do an Ironman race, you have to do it all on your own. There's no outside assistance. If you get any outside assistance at all, even your wife, handing you as you're running down the road a new pair of shoes, you're disqualified. You're done right there. And with the Korites, they were to have no outside assistance. They were to carry that on their shoulders. It's a picture of salvation. Salvation is a relationship between you and God. There's no outside assistance. It's only between you and God, and salvation through Jesus. It's if you say, hey, I go to church every Sunday and I've been involved in my church forever, but you don't have that relationship with Jesus, you haven't accepted him into your life, then you're not saved. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you go to church. Or let's say your parents are religious people and they go to church all the time. They're devout Christians, but you've never made a commitment to follow Jesus. You're not going into heaven because of your parents. You can't piggyback on your parents, really. Okay, salvation is an individual commitment between you and God. Okay, so that it kind of pictures that as we look at that. Salvation, let me repeat this. Salvation is a commitment between you and God through Jesus. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no other way to salvation. All right. There's not many ways up that mountain. All right. To get to heaven, it's only through Jesus. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue going through chapter 7 of Leviticus. It's not Leviticus, Numbers, the longest chapter of the first 5 books of the Bible. Join me. It'll actually probably be quicker than this episode. We'll see you tomorrow.